Welcome. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Marsala Jadol. My student ID is 23106362121. Today the topic I will discuss about an overview of the last monetary policy that was declared by Bangladesh Bank on 31 July 2025. I will discuss about four important things that like the summary. I will give a summary of the recent monetary policy. Next, I will compare the uh, monetary policy to the previous one. Next, I will talk about some important tools that Bangladesh Bank uses to control the money supply. Next and last, I will talk about some reforms that is needed. So, the summary. We can see that inflation and exchange rate. Inflation easing due to demand supply measure, exchange rate stability from improving BOP and flexible regime, targeted inflation below 7%, and the government is targeting a inflation that is under 7%, and the GDP growth rate and targeted GDP growth is 5.5% for the fiscal year 26. And the monetary policy rate should be unchanged if unchanged to below 7%. The repo rate will be 10% and the statutory liquidity fund lending will be 11.5% and the SDF deposit will remain 8% if until the inflation comes under 7%. 7%. And in this slide, I will compare this monetary policy from the previous one. In the in this in this year monetary policy, we can see that the repo rate is 10%, which is the was as same as the previous one, which was 10%, and the statutory liquidity fund rate was 11.50%, which is as same as the previous one. And if we look at the statutory deposit fund rate, we can see it is 8.50% previous year, and it lowered to 8.8%, and it reduced to 50 basis points. And the inflation in the previous year was 8.5%, and it down from 11.66% from the previous one. And this year we are targeting that the inflation rate will come below 7% by maintaining a tightening re- more tightening inflation control. In the credit, we can see that in the previous year it slow in the private credit was slow. In the in the current year, we can see the private credit restraint, and in the previous year for the policy direction, we can see that it was consistent, and for this year that it is tied with forward looking conditionally. If we move to the next slide, there is a bar chart that clears the previous slide. We can see that the public growth rate was um, was high than the current year, and the inflation rate changed too. one. Now I will talk about some tools that used by Bangladesh Bank. First of all, we talk about convention tools like open market operation. What is open market operation? Open market operation is the Bangladesh Bank buy and sale of some securities like treasury bills and bonds to the commercial bank and control the money supply. Second one, we can see some policy rates like repo rates, reserve repo rates, and statutory lending facility SLF as standing depository facility FDF. And third one is reserve requirement like CRR, like CRN and SLR. CRR is cash reserve requirement, which which uh, in this reserve requirement the commercial bank have to put some of the reserve to the commercial bank in form of cash. In the SLR, the commercial bank no have to maintain cash and also some securities like golds in the form of cash. If we move to the next slide, we see another two conventional tools like discount window that is used when for the emergency lending to banks and the lender of the last resort. Liquidity support that is used in the liquidity support in crisis situation. In the next slide, there are two non-conventional tools like moral, sui- moral suasion, and the forward guidance. Moral suasion refers to the informal method of monetary policy where Bangladesh Bank persuade or request commercial bank to follow certain policies or direction without issuing binding regulation. Forward guidance is a communication-based monetary policy tools where Bangladesh Bank gives signals or announcement about future monetary policy discussion to influence expectation of market investors and the public. In this slide, I will talk about some reforms that is needed for our economy. First of all, I will discuss the formal inflation targeting framework. The in this system, the it should be it should be there should be a target for controlling the inflation, and it should ensure accountability and it should be transparent to the people. And next one is trending NPL or non-performing loan management. They are in the non-performing loan management. The Bangladesh Bank should be as strict as possible. They should introduce a policy where the other commercial banks should maintain, like the implementing robust resolution framework and say enhance supervision. If we look at the next slide, and we can see the ensuring exchange rate stability. Exchange rate is an important factor. It should be it should be flexible, and it should be develop hedging market, and it should and the Bangladesh Bank should limit intervention in the market for the ta- for the exchange rate. And last, we will discuss the in the last we can see the integrating digital finance, foster fintech innovation, develop a digital Taka (CCBC) and monetize payment system. We can see that today world is digitalized, and by ensuring digital money like fintech like Bcash Rocket, we can ensure accountability because there is a proof that the money is um, the money that money of the money. But when in cash there may not be a proof, so it ensures accountability, and it can track the uh, it can track corruption. And that's all from my presentation. Thank you.